All right, we are diving into a really exciting question today. What is India's next breakout stock? We're digging into some market analysis that says one particular company could be on track to actually double its value. So, which one is it? Let's find out.
So here's the big promise. One of India's top companies might just double in value in only 12 months. It's a huge claim, right? So how did the analysis even get to this conclusion? And who was the top contender? Let's break down all the evidence.
So what's really fueling this massive opportunity? Well, it kind of starts with this number right here, 6.4%. That is India's projected GDP growth, which makes it the fastest growing major economy on the planet. This is the powerful tide that could lift one of these stocks to some incredible new heights.
First things first, let's get a feel for the racetrack itself. Before we meet the horses, we need to understand the key economic factors that are making India's market so hot right now.
It's not just one thing driving all this growth. It's more like a perfect storm. You've got corporate earnings on a really strong recovery path. Then there are government programs like Digital India and these production-linked incentives, which, basically just reward companies for making more stuff in India. It's all pouring fuel on the fire. And when you add in these huge national pushes into renewables and electric vehicles, well, you can see the strategy to hit that $5 trillion economy goal.
Okay, so the track is ready. The conditions are perfect. Now, let's meet the 5 main contenders who are all vying for that breakout stock title.
And here they are, all side by side. You can immediately see the different kinds of growth stories we're talking about. I mean, look at Adani Green with that explosive 31% revenue growth. And then you have a giant like Infosys showing much slower but steadier gains. The column you really want to watch, though, is on the far right, the projected earnings growth. That's where you start to see the absolutely massive potential of players like Adani and Tata Motors.
All right, it is time for the performance review. Let's dig into each of these leaders to see who really has the edge.
First up to the plate is a true pioneer of India's EV revolution, Tata Motors. We're talking about a company that has over 70% of the market share. They are absolutely dominating one of the country's biggest industrial shifts right now.
Now, the key here is to look right past that small revenue dip. It was really just caused by some supply chain headaches. But their profit, at nearly 4,000 crore rupees, actually beat expectations. So what's their real strength? Well, it's that staggering 70% share of the domestic EV market. Their future growth really hinges on new models, but that global chip shortage, that remains a key risk to watch.
Okay, so from electric cars to electric power. Contender number 2 is Adani Green Energy, a total giant in the renewable space and, let's be honest, a clear frontrunner in this race.
I mean, wow, you can't really get any clearer than that, can you? The source material pulls absolutely no punches with this quote. It puts Adani Green directly in the spotlight. This is the kind of statement that really makes you sit up and pay very, very close attention to the numbers that are about to follow.
And believe me, the numbers totally back up the hype. In just 1 year, revenue surged 31%, their energy sales jumped an incredible 42%, and their operational capacity grew by 45%. And with plans to hit a massive 45 gigawatts, they are right at the heart of India's green energy goals. The growth trajectory here is it's off the charts.
All right, let's shift gears. Moving on to our third contender, we're entering the world of IT services with a legacy giant that's busy reinventing itself for the new age of artificial intelligence, Infosys.
So Infosys offers a completely different kind of growth story. It's not explosive, but it's steady and it's confident. They're winning really strong deals, they're raising their revenue guidance, and they're making a strategic pivot to AI with their Topaz platform. This makes them more of a defensive play, really, with a potential 50% upside if that US tech spending rebounds. Next up, our fourth contender is a powerhouse in the pharmaceutical space, and it has some serious global ambitions. Let's take a closer look at Sun Pharma. Sun Pharma's story is all about solid, double-digit growth. What really stands out is an impressive 15% expansion in the super competitive US market. And what's driving all this? A massive $2.5 billion pipeline of new drugs. The analysis suggests the stock is probably undervalued, with a potential 40 to 60% upside.
And that brings us to our final contender, a key player that's directly plugged into India's booming consumer economy, ICICI Bank.
Yeah, ICICI Bank's numbers pretty much scream healthy economy. Net profit is up 15% and their loan book expanded by 16%. Crucially, their asset quality is getting better, with bad loans, or what they call gross NPA, down to just 2.1%. They serve over 100 million digital customers, so they are perfectly set to ride India's consumption wave. The projection here is for an upside of about 30 to 40%.
So, there we have it. We've reviewed all 5 contenders. We've seen their strengths, we've seen their growth drivers, and we've seen the risks. It is time to bring it all together for the final verdict.
Okay, before the final reveal, just look at this chart. This really compares the two frontrunners on a super critical metric, projected earnings per share, or EPS, which is just a key way to measure a company's profitability. You can see Tata Motors shows really strong growth, right around 30%, but Adani Green, well, it's just in a league of its own, with projections over 40%.
And there it is. Based on its absolutely explosive growth, its massive expansion plans, and its perfect alignment with India's national priorities, the analysis pick for the stock most likely to double is Adani Green Energy.
But listen, the final takeaway here is way bigger than just one stock. While Adani Green is the top pick to double, the analysis really stresses a balanced approach. Tata Motors is a huge bet on the EV revolution, no doubt, and the others all offer sector leadership and a steady upside. The real key takeaway is diversification. Because as you can see from past returns, betting on these powerful Indian growth sectors has historically paid off handsomely.
So, that's the breakdown. We've seen the data, we've met the 5 contenders, and we have the final verdict from the source material. Now that you've seen the evidence, I want to turn it over to you. Which horse would you back in this race? Thanks for tuning in.